1976, no mint. Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, the hidden treasure in your pocket. Imagine this, a small copper coin glinting faintly under the dull light of a desk lamp. You pick it up absent-mindedly, thinking it's just another old penny from spare change. But as your eyes adjust and the date becomes clear, 1976, and you notice there's no mint mark below Lincoln's shoulder, your heart skips a beat. Could this humble coin be worth $7,700? Yes, you heard that right. This is not a myth. This is the astonishing story of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, one of the most surprising discoveries in American numismatic history. The year 1976 was a time of celebration. The United States was marking its bicentennial, 200 years of independence, and coin collectors across the nation were excited about new designs appearing on quarters, halves, and dollars. Yet, amid that patriotic excitement, one unassuming penny quietly rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint, destined to become a legend. It bore no mint mark, no special symbol, just the bold date 1976 and Abraham Lincoln's proud profile. Nobody at that time imagined that decades later, this tiny copper coin would send waves through the collector community. What makes the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny so fascinating is not just its age, but its rarity and condition sensitivity. While millions of 1976 pennies were minted, only a fraction remain in pristine, untouched condition. Most circulated heavily through the economy, tossed into jars, spent at gas stations, or left forgotten in drawers. But the few that escaped wear, the few that kept their full red copper shine and sharp details, those are the true treasures that today can command values reaching $7,700 or more. Let's step back for a moment to understand why this coin in particular stands apart. The Lincoln Memorial Penny series began in 1959, replacing the wheat ears design to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The reverse showcased the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., an architectural symbol of unity and freedom. Every coin minted in Philadelphia during this era lacked a mint mark. That means the absence of the D or S was typical. But what makes the 1976 issue exceptional is its flawless strike, distinct luster, and historical context tied to the bicentennial year. Coin grading experts at PCGS and NGC have found that high-grade examples, those graded MS-67 red or better, are extremely scarce. Their brilliance and sharp relief make them stand out from millions of ordinary examples. So how do you check if your 1976 penny could be one of these valuable rarities? Start by picking up your coin carefully. Always hold it by the edges to avoid fingerprints. Under a bright LED light or daylight, inspect the surface. You're looking for coins that still have a deep reddish shine, what collectors call full red. The fields, the flat areas, should be smooth, free of scratches or dull spots. Next, look at the date. It should read 1976, and there should be no mint mark below Lincoln's shoulder. Any tiny D or S would mean it's from Denver or San Francisco, not Philadelphia. Once that's confirmed, check the strike quality. Does Lincoln's hair show crisp detail? Are the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust bold and raised evenly? The reverse should display the steps and columns of the Lincoln Memorial sharply, with United States of America and A Pluribus Unum perfectly defined. If your coin meets these visual tests, it may be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate coins and assign a professional grade, a key factor in determining its market value. A perfectly preserved coin graded MS-67 red or above could easily command a $7,700 price tag at auction. Now, beyond grading, the story behind these coins adds to their mystique. Imagine the journey. Minted at the height of the American bicentennial celebrations, circulated among patriotic citizens, and surviving decades without tarnish or damage. Each surviving gem is like a time capsule, a tiny witness to a year when America looked back proudly on its 200 years of independence. Owning one isn't just holding a coin, it's holding a slice of that history. Collectors often speak about a certain magic in discovering such coins in the wild. There have been stories of people finding these valuable 1976 no-mint mark pennies in old jars, coin rolls, or even in a family heirloom box that hadn't been opened in decades. Some of these finds later fetched thousands of dollars at auctions, turning ordinary people into unexpected treasure hunters overnight. It's this thrilling unpredictability that makes coin collecting so captivating, the idea that history might still be hiding in your loose change. Let's now explore how to properly store a coin like this, should you be fortunate enough to find one. Preservation is everything in numismatics. The difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth thousands often comes down to how it has been stored. First and foremost, avoid touching the surfaces. Natural oils and moisture from your fingers can permanently stain or corrode copper. Always handle coins with clean cotton gloves or hold them carefully by the rim. Never polish or clean your coin. Cleaning damages the surface and instantly reduces its value. Instead, place your 1976 penny in an acid-free, PVC-free coin holder or a Mylar flip. Airtight capsules are even better for long-term storage, as they keep out dust and humidity. Temperature and humidity control are crucial. Store your coins in a cool, dry place, away from sunlight, heat, and moisture. Avoid basements and attics where temperature changes can cause oxidation. Many professional collectors use silica gel packs or dehumidifiers in their storage drawers to protect their coins. Finally, label your holder clearly with details like 1976 No Mint Mark Lincoln, Memorial Penny, Potential MS Condition, Est Value, 7700. This keeps your collection organized and ready for professional evaluation. One more insider tip: if you're passionate about coin collecting, maintain a digital record. Take high-resolution photos of your coins, front and back, under proper lighting. Log their condition, weight, and any certifications. This helps you track value changes over time and provides proof of ownership. Some collectors even ensure their high-value pieces once verified by grading services. Now, back to the historical significance, because no coin becomes legendary without a story rooted in its time. In 1976, while the nation celebrated freedom with parades, fireworks, and the famous bicentennial quarter featuring the drummer boy design, the humble penny remained visually unchanged. But that's precisely what makes it intriguing. It represents continuity, the everyday symbol of value that didn't need redesigning. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was itself a reminder of the principles Lincoln stood for: unity, justice, and equality. This sense of quiet dignity reflects in the coin's design, and perhaps in the surprising reverence collectors hold for it today. Over the decades, collectors have debated what makes certain Philadelphia minted pennies from this era more desirable. Some numismatists suggest minor die variations or superior strike quality may explain the standout examples. Others believe it's simply the power of survival, the incredibly low number of near-perfect pieces that have endured untouched. Regardless of the reason, one fact remains: a flawless 1976 no mint mark penny can be as coveted as some silver coins of the same period. In auctions, these coins have sparked intense bidding wars. One such specimen, graded MS-67 Red, drew attention from multiple seasoned collectors and sold for an eye-opening $7,700, reaffirming its elite status in the world of copper coinage. Every time such a coin surfaces, it reignites the fascination of treasure hunters worldwide. Proof that even the smallest denomination can hold immense value. The beauty of this story lies in the contrast: how something so ordinary can turn extraordinary through preservation, patience, and a little bit of luck. It reminds us that numismatics isn't merely about metal or money. It's about connection to history, to craftsmanship, to the past lives of everyday objects. So the next time you pick up a penny, pause for a second. Look closely at the date. Feel the weight of history in your palm. If you happen to see 1976 and no mint mark beneath Lincoln's portrait, handle it carefully, because you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable relics of America's bicentennial era. A coin that started its journey as a simple piece of change could now be your $7,700 treasure. And that's the enduring allure of the 1976 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, proof that sometimes the greatest discoveries come from the smallest, most unexpected places. Next up, 1978 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, the $7,400 copper secret hidden in plain sight. You glance down at a pile of loose change on your desk. Among the dull browns and grays, one coin catches the light, a copper glow that seems strangely alive. You pick it up, read the date, 1978, and see no tiny letter below Lincoln's shoulder. No D, no S, nothing at all. In that instant, you might be holding what collectors whisper about. A 1978 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, a coin so deceptively ordinary yet capable of fetching $7,400 at auction. It's hard to imagine that a 1-cent coin, worth almost nothing in your pocket, could command the price of a luxury vacation. But that's the magic of numismatics. History, rarity, and condition transforming metal into treasure. Let's travel back to the late 1970s. America was recovering from recession. Technology was creeping into daily life, and the penny was still made mostly of copper, a metal whose value was quietly rising. At the Philadelphia Mint, presses thundered day and night, producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Each bore the same proud image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, his gaze steady and unyielding. Yet among these billions, a few coins stood apart, struck with remarkable sharpness, untouched by human hands, preserved in flawless red luster. These are the coins that today make collectors' hearts race. The 1978 No Mint Mark penny belongs to a fascinating chapter of American coinage. It carries no mint mark because it was struck in Philadelphia, the nation's first and oldest mint. During that era, the Philadelphia facility traditionally did not include its mint mark on circulating coins. That absence isn't an error, but it becomes significant when a particular year yields an unusually perfect strike, or when so few high-grade examples survive that collectors compete fiercely to own one. That's exactly what happened with the 1978 penny. At first glance, it may look like any other cent, but under magnification, its beauty reveals itself. Crisp hairlines on Lincoln's portrait, razor-sharp lettering on "In God We Trust," and mirrored fields around the portrait. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, shows the Lincoln Memorial in stunning architectural detail. Each column distinct, the tiny seated statue of Lincoln faintly visible in the center. When a coin like this remains uncirculated for decades with no spots, stains, or contact marks, it becomes a rarity. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC have awarded the finest examples the grade MS-67 red, and such pieces have reached prices of $7,400 in auctions. But what makes one 1978 penny worth $7,400 while another barely worth a cent? The answer lies in a mix of condition, rarity, and collector demand. Over 5 billion pennies were minted that year, but nearly all entered circulation, scraped and rubbed through countless transactions. A small handful were preserved accidentally in rolls, proof sets, or forgotten drawers. The combination of brilliant red copper color, perfect strike, and historical appeal has elevated these few survivors to elite status. If you suspect you have one, here's how to check your coin like a professional numismatist. First, place the penny under a bright white light, not yellow or dim lighting. Hold it by its edges to avoid leaving fingerprints. Tilt it gently. A high-grade coin will flash with a vibrant reddish-orange glow across the surface. That shimmering red tone indicates minimal oxidation. Collectors call these full red examples. Examine Lincoln's face carefully. Every strand of hair should appear distinct, the cheeks smooth and glossy, and no dull patches on the fields. Flip the coin to its reverse. Focus on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Can you count each one clearly? Are the letters of E pluribus unum strong and unbroken? Those microscopic details can separate a coin worth pennies from one worth thousands. Then, check the mint mark area beneath Lincoln's shoulder. There should be no small letter. If you see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, it's not the rare Philadelphia issue. The absence of any mark is what gives this coin its identity, the No Mint Mark Philadelphia strike. Next, consider grading. A coin's value depends heavily on its certified grade. Submitting it to professional services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, is essential if you believe it's uncirculated. These experts use microscopes and strict standards to assign grades ranging from MS-60, mint state, to the near-perfect MS-70. Every point matters. A 1978 penny graded MS-66 red might sell for a few $100s. But an MS-67 red, virtually flawless, has achieved that remarkable $7,400 mark in public auctions. Now, let's step back to appreciate what this coin represents. The Lincoln Memorial design itself is an icon of American resilience. Introduced in 1959, it replaced the wheat ears reverse, symbolizing not agriculture but architecture, stability, unity, and remembrance. By 1978, the design had been circulating for nearly 2 decades, familiar yet noble. Every American had held it, but almost no one realized that in its simplicity lay future fortune. That's what makes the 1978 penny so poetic, a coin so common it became invisible. Yet so rare in perfection it turned priceless. Collectors often describe discovering such coins as an emotional experience, equal parts disbelief and exhilaration. There's a famous story about a young collector from Pennsylvania who inherited his grandfather's old coin rolls in 2012. Inside one uncirculated roll from the late 1970s, every penny gleamed like fire. When he submitted them for grading, one piece came back MS-67 red, later selling at auction for nearly $7,400. That single coin funded his college tuition. Stories like these remind us that history hides in the most unexpected corners. But finding treasure is only half the battle. Preserving it is the true art of numismatics. If you own a 1978 no-mint mark penny in excellent condition, how you store it will decide its future value. Copper is notoriously reactive. It darkens, spots, or corrodes if exposed to air and moisture. So rule number 1, never touch the coin's surface. Always handle it by the edges, preferably wearing soft cotton gloves. Cleaning is strictly forbidden. Any rubbing or polishing erases the delicate mint luster and slashes its worth instantly. For safe storage, use acid-free mylar flips, airtight capsules, or hard plastic coin slabs. Avoid ordinary PVC plastic sleeves, as they release chemicals over time that can stain or corrode copper. Store your coins in a temperature-controlled environment, around 20 degrees 68 hectare, with low humidity. Basements and attics are dangerous for coins due to moisture swings. Serious collectors often use dehumidifiers or silica packs in their storage boxes to maintain a stable environment. For long-term preservation, consider keeping high-value coins in a small fireproof safe or a safety deposit box at the bank. Label each coin carefully with its year, mint mark status, and any grading certification. If you plan to build a digital catalog, photograph your coins under natural light and record the certification numbers. That documentation can increase resale confidence and insurance protection. Let's turn our attention to the market side, where history meets modern economics. Coin auctions, whether on Heritage, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections, have proven repeatedly that condition rules everything. A brilliant 1978 no-mint mark penny in the highest grades attracts fierce bidding wars. Part of its appeal is psychological. Collectors adore completing high-grade sets of Lincoln Memorial cents from 1959 through 2008. The 1978 issue, with its elusive top-grade examples, often becomes the missing piece in that puzzle. The moment one appears in pristine condition, the demand surges. Another reason for its soaring price is the transition period it represents. Just 4 years later, in 1982, the composition of the penny changed from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc alloy. That shift made the late 1970s copper cents the final era of true heavy copper Lincoln coins. Their metallic warmth, weight, and tone differ subtly from modern pennies, adding sentimental and historical charm. In essence, the 1978 penny is one of the last pure copper legends before the U.S. Mint turned to cheaper materials. Interestingly, the Philadelphia Mint mark would officially appear on Lincoln cents only in 2017, nearly 4 decades after the 1978 issue. That fact adds another historical twist. The 1978 no mint mark penny is part of the last generations to carry Philadelphia's invisible signature. What once seemed normal, no mint mark has become a defining feature of an earlier, purer minting tradition. The thrill of discovery, the artistry of design, and the endurance of copper all converge in this one small coin. Each surviving high-grade example tells a silent story of survival. It might have slipped off the production press on a winter morning in 1978, landed in a bank bag, traveled across the country, and somehow avoided years of wear. It survived human indifference, inflation, and time itself, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize its worth. When you think about it, this coin embodies the very spirit of collecting, patience rewarded, attention to detail valued, and history preserved. Owning a 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny in top condition is not just about money. It's about holding an artifact that connects everyday life to national heritage. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or sort your change, pause for a moment. Look closely. Feel the edges, study the date, and see if fate has hidden a treasure among your pennies. Because inside that small circle of copper may lie a piece of American history and a potential $7,400 surprise. That's the legend. Next up, 1982. No mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. The $7,000 copper phantom. It begins with a rattle, a handful of change tumbling from a drawer. You see the copper glint, pick up a penny, and the date catches your eye. 1982. You tilt it, and your breath stalls. No tiny D, no S, just the plain date. At first it feels ordinary, another Lincoln cent, dull from years of circulation. But what if this humble piece of metal weighing less than a gram is actually a $7,000 rarity hiding in plain sight? That's the mystery of the 1982 no mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny, one of the most discussed and misunderstood coins of modern American history. Its value lies in its transformation year, a time when the U.S. Mint quietly changed the very heart of the penny itself. To understand its legend, we must step into 1982, a year of transition. For more than 2 decades, Lincoln pennies had been struck primarily in 95% copper, giving them their rich, warm tone and satisfying weight. But the cost of copper had soared, and by the early 1980s, the Mint faced a choice: either eliminate the penny or make it cheaper. Their solution was radical. Switch to a copper-plated zinc planchet, reducing the metal value dramatically. Thus, in mid-1982, the U.S. Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies. That single decision created a labyrinth of varieties: small dates, large dates, copper, zinc, Denver issues, and Philadelphia no-mint mark strikes. Among them, one emerged as an unexpected marvel: the 1982 no-mint mark copper penny with a particular die pairing that would one day reach $7,000 in certified condition. When people hear that number, they often imagine an error coin, but it isn't exactly an error. It's a survivor from a moment of change, a hybrid of old composition and new production habits. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of pennies that year, but only a scarce portion were the pure copper type without any mint mark. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated form, bright red, flawless, untouched by circulation, is the numismatic equivalent of lightning in a bottle. So what sets this coin apart visually? Let's begin with how to recognize it. First, look beneath the date on Lincoln's right shoulder. There should be no letter. That confirms it's from Philadelphia. Next, weigh the coin on a precise digital scale. A copper 1982 penny should weigh 3.11 grams, while a zinc version weighs 2.5 grams. That difference, barely over half a gram, is the single most important test. If your no mint mark 1982 penny tips the scale at around 3.1 grams, you may have found one of the most valuable circulation year varieties in existence. Now examine the date style. The 1982 pennies exist in both small date and large date versions. The small date copper with no mint mark is the true prize. On the small date, the 8 and 2 digits appear thinner, more delicate, and the top of the 8 aligns evenly with the 9. On the large date, the numbers look thicker, the 2 curls sharply. Spotting that difference requires patience, a magnifier, and keen observation, the kind of focus only real treasure hunters possess. If your coin passes these visual and weight tests, the next step is condition grading. The grading scale runs from circulated good to uncirculated mint state. For the 1982 no mint mark copper penny, the record prices belong to examples graded MS67 red, a level of perfection where even the smallest blemish is absent. In 2019, one such specimen shocked the collecting world when it sold for nearly $7,000 at a major auction. It wasn't just a sale, it was a statement. A modern-era penny, often dismissed as pocket change, had become a symbol of precision, rarity, and the beauty of transition in coinage history. But the fascination with this coin runs deeper than money. It captures a moment when technology and economics collided. The 1982 transition wasn't simple. Presses had to adapt, dies had to be recalibrated, and metal composition changes caused subtle differences in strike quality. The result? Variants, oddities, and the birth of modern penny collecting. To this day, numismatists meticulously sort 1982 cents by date style, composition, and mint mark, knowing that hidden among billions lies a copper ghost worth thousands. If you wish to check your coins for this rarity, here's the professional process step by step. Gather your 1982 pennies. Separate those with no mint mark. Use a precise digital scale. Only coins weighing around 3.11 grams are copper. Inspect the date style. Compare small date versus large date reference photos. Small date copper is the target. Check for surface brilliance. Uncirculated coins show a glowing reddish mirror effect. Avoid cleaning. Any attempt to polish will permanently ruin the surface and kill collector value. Consult a grading service. PCGS or NGC certification confirms authenticity and can increase value exponentially. Imagine the thrill. A coin that might have passed through countless hands but somehow stayed untouched. Its fields mirror smooth, Lincoln's profile razor sharp. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. Now let's talk about preservation, because the key to holding that $7,000 value isn't just discovery, it's protection. Copper reacts quickly with air, oils, and moisture. The enemy of a copper coin is oxidation, the slow darkening or spotting that eats away at its beauty. If you discover a bright red 1982 penny, treat it like a fragile artifact. Handle it by the edges only, wearing soft gloves. Place it immediately in an airtight capsule made of inert materials like acrylic or mylar. Never use PVC plastic flips. They release chemicals that can stain the eye and metal over time. Keep your coins away from direct sunlight, which accelerates toning, and from humid rooms like basements. The ideal environment is cool, dry, and stable, around 65-70 degrees, 18 to 21 degrees, with relative humidity below 40%. Serious collectors even use small dehumidifiers or silica gel packs in their storage drawers. For added protection, store the coin in a hard case or slab if professionally graded. Label it clearly. 1982 no mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny, copper small date, escrow value $7,000. A clear record keeps it identifiable and impressive for display or resale. Over time, that care ensures your treasure remains as brilliant as the day it left the mint. Let's pause to appreciate the symbolism behind this coin. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, portrays the monument that honors one of America's greatest presidents. On the 1982 penny, this design was nearing the end of its 23-year journey before modern alloys and designs took over. It bridges two eras, the classical copper age and the pragmatic zinc age. That alone gives it emotional weight. It's not just a coin, but a boundary stone between traditions. Think of it. Millions of these coins jingled in pockets during a time of typewriters, cassette tapes, and rotary phones. Yet, among that sea of copper, only a few pristine examples endured untouched, destined to become historical treasures. The irony is poetic. The last of the old pennies, forgotten by time, rediscovered by chance. Collectors often call this coin the copper phantom because it hides so well among ordinary cents. Countless people handle them daily without ever noticing. Some sit in piggy banks for decades until one day a curious person decides to weigh them, and suddenly a $7,000 revelation emerges. That feeling, the rush of realizing you've uncovered something extraordinary in the most mundane place, is what keeps the world of numismatics alive. Now, let's examine why its market value remains strong. High-grade certified coins have limited populations. Auction records show only a handful of 1982 no-mint mark copper small-date pennies achieving MS67 red. Each time one surfaces, competition is fierce. Collectors of Lincoln cents, one of the most popular series ever minted, always crave completion, and completing the 1982 varieties is like finishing a complex puzzle. The copper versions are heavier, more resonant, and age with a warm tone that zinc coins lack. That tactile difference has turned the 1982 copper penny into a sentimental favorite. It represents craftsmanship, endurance, and authenticity, qualities that appeal not just to collectors, but to anyone who values American history in its smallest form. In recent years, as awareness of this variety has spread online, people worldwide have begun checking their spare change with digital scales. It sparked a new wave of micro-treasure hunting. And occasionally lightning strikes. A coin long ignored is rediscovered, authenticated, and sold for thousands. Every time it happens, it renews faith in the old saying that fortune favors the observant. Beyond its financial allure, the 1982 no-mint mark penny teaches a timeless lesson about perception. Value doesn't always shine in gold or silver. Sometimes it hides in copper, disguised as something ordinary. It reminds us to look closer, to question the familiar, and to respect the history behind the simplest objects. Picture that penny again, its surface gleaming softly under light, Lincoln's face calm, timeless. This little disc has witnessed 4 decades of change, economic shifts, digital revolutions, entire generations passing it by. Yet it endures, waiting for the moment someone finally sees it for what it is. A survivor, a relic, a bridge between eras, and perhaps a $7,000 discovery. So next time you empty your pockets or count your savings jar, take a moment. Set aside the 1982 pennies. Examine them, weigh them, study their curves. You might just find that among billions of ordinary coins, one extraordinary relic remains, a shining echo of the past and proof that true value often hides in the smallest places.